All right. If you're on Twitch, you did not miss us because we were recording this about 10 minutes after we recorded our last episode. That's also why, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're wearing the same clothes. We're not just dirty people. We're back. We are still rocking the Dark Pictures Anthology, and we are talking about what could be my favorite game in the series.
As of right now.
As of right now, Little Hope. So Little Hope is the second installment in the Dark Horror Anthology, and it is the third game from Supermassive that we are going to be reviewing. So Little Hope is the story of these people that get in a bus crash and they walk around an abandoned town. It's sort of like The Mist by Stephen King, very similar sort of vibes to like the whole like the fog's keeping people out. Like,
I don't know what that is.
Again, I feel like it's in a way a very traditional horror setup, right? Like it's an abandoned village, an abandoned city, and people can't see through the fog. They can't go through the fog, and they have to figure it out. This game is set in New England. And we know this is set in New England because one of the big things in New England, and a big recurring theme in here, is the Salem witch trial, or just witch trials in general, because this is not set in Salem, obviously. As we talked about in prior ones, this game starts off pretty fucked, which is obviously you're playing as the main character, Anthony, and he is the semi-famous, well, the C-list celebrity, we'll call him, that is the head of this picture, and his name is Will Poulter.
Which, if you guys don't know, which you've referenced a few times, was the main was a son in We Are the Millers, and he was a main character in the Black Mirror interactive movie on Netflix that came out a couple of years ago.
I would argue he's most well known for the meme that says, "You guys are getting paid for this?"
Yeah.
Right? So if you've ever seen that meme where it's like, "I'm getting this," or "I'm doing this," "You guys are getting paid for this?" It's that kid.
Yeah.
He's really
he's a goofball looking kid. but when you see,
I was gonna say something so much worse, so thank God. Yours was great. Yours was so good. Yours was so good. But yeah.
But when you see him in like Black Mirror, he looks very more sophisticated, and even in this game you don't really look at him as that doofus kid as he was in that movie. Mm-hmm. But he's the main guy. Then there's James, the professor, Dennis, the tough guy, like jockey or guy out of the group, I guess you would call him. So
the interesting thing is they're all part of a creative writing class.
Yeah. And
the professor, James, is taking them on a field trip. And it starts off as they have to cut through a town of Little Hope. Due
to the road being
blocked
closed
off
for the moment. Yeah.
And, so basically what happens is obviously, you see Dennis, he's the jock, and he's like, I don't know why I'm in creative writing. And he's like secretly dating Taylor.
The short-haired girl that kind of is like all in your face and angry all the time.
Yeah, and then Angela, the old woman, who I love when it pops up for her. It says mature student.
Yeah.
That killed me. That made me. I was like, you know what though?
They listed her as 48, but she looks like she's 70.
Well, and then like so one of the recurring themes or one of the recurring situations in here is you keep finding these people. So these 5 characters whose names we just listed off, like all sort of like intertwined in life in different decades, right? Like, so it starts off where, and I realized this almost instantly, they were the parents in this house fire that Anthony goes through. And that house fire is one of the most graphic things I've ever seen in my entire life.
It goes 0 to 100 like that.
It's just like the girl like accidentally hangs herself on her scarf trying to reach for the drain pipe.
So you chose that one? Drain pipe?
Yeah. Did you?
No.
And she still hung from her scarf?
Yeah.
How? She slip or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then like still hung.
Okay, so mine she tried to reach for the drain pipe.
So I was like, drain pipe doesn't make any sense. Like that'll break off. She'd probably fall to her death regardless.
It was only like a story up though. I think she could have just jumped.
I thought that too the whole time. Like just jump, and then she's like hangs herself instead.
And then the brother falling on the picket fence. I was like, that was. No, what was the most fucked up part about this? And I actually want to get back to this at the end. So they're kind of tiptoeing around the fact there's the younger daughter. Her name's Megan. And they kind of tiptoe around the fact that she There's something wrong with her.
Well, I thought
she's getting in trouble at school.
I thought she was adopted too, is what they said.
Yeah, I think all the kids were.
Oh, really?
Because they said we can't have kids. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So like, this is why I wish
that's
we
why
could
they all
have
look
kids.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Megan, at the time, like, and she's just like, she lights the freaking house on fire, and you see this creepy hand. Did you notice
shadow?
that?
Yeah. It's
so
like it was like a bad omen over.
Don't let me forget that.
Okay.
Please, because I need to come back to that at the end once we've talked about this a little bit more.
I would love to, because I didn't really get that, but that bothered me because they don't really touch on it, but I might have missed something.
No, they don't, and that's why I want to talk about this at the end.
Okay.
So here's a really fun fact. Colin and I, in the other games, we talked about our outcomes before the podcast. We both just finished playing this game. Colin didn't play this 5 years ago like he has with every other game we review. He just finished playing this game. I just finished playing this game. We went off in terms of, like, I don't know who survived for him. I don't know what his choices were, and I kind of love it. So let me tell you my experience in the game. I need to start off first by saying I loved it. Like, this is, whereas Man of Medan and, like, those warships is not my speed, this is my speed. Abandoned villages, creepy houses, and, like, I'll tell you what, you know how every single time somebody goes...
Yeah, they grabbed them.
Whenever that happens, I shit myself.
Yeah?
It was horrifying. It was just, like, such a good jump scare every single time.
And you didn't really know when it was going to happen sometimes.
No, sometimes it would just be, like, so random. And then I loved it at the end because they all got so used to it that, like, if somebody saw somebody get grabbed, they'd grab them too so they could go into the memory.
Yeah.
So... we find, basically, we keep traveling back to the witch trials, and you're following people that are your doubles, lookalikes, and seeing how they're kind of interacting in the witch trials, and they all end up dying these horrible deaths, which are real. And that's how they killed witches.
Yeah, and it represents how each family member dies in the original dream that Anthony has.
And I thought about that, too, which is really interesting. The dad crushed by the stones.
Yeah.
The brother off the top impaled.
Yep.
Other girl hung, but on purpose. Yeah. And then the mom drowns,
so she can't breathe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Mary
doesn't die.
Does she die? I thought you can...
No, she dies in the fire.
She does in the fire.
She doesn't die in my game, though.
No, she didn't die in my game either.
So I played my game, actually, with... And this is a really interesting vibe. And people were getting mad at me in the game, but I kept pushing through. With Will not blaming Mary for anything.
I didn't blame her for anything either.
Really? You were just like, she's just a kid. It was, to be fair, it was the priest.
Yeah, it was the priest.
And
like,
you find, but you also
But also, it's funny because, like, that's something that I think legit happened back then, was they just, like, make the little girl, like, because they don't know better. You're like, hey, just pretend like
100%. Well, didn't you...
And then you'll get paid or something.
But didn't you, like, if I read all the lore. I read everything.
All in? So you know way more than me at this point.
So, back in the day... somebody would accuse somebody else of being a witch if they didn't like them.
Yeah, I know.
So it would be to, like, get them out of...
Yeah,
like,
kill them.
Yeah, pretty much. They'd be like, oh, this person's a witch. And then they say something insane, right? They're just like...
I saw her in the woods doing something weird.
Well, or if you're a witch, you can survive. But the cool thing was how when the five students and the professor come into the witch realm, they're invisible and they can kind of, like, alter things.
Yeah.
It was so cool. And, like, eventually when, you know, the double, we'll call them, like, from the 1692 doubles start dying, they're ghosts when they come. Like, they're fucked looking. They're horrifying. And I love it.
You know what the wild thing was, too, when you, like, go back in their things and, like, you change things? Either you try to do something good and it would just totally backfire, or if you tried saving that person that was you, it'd be like, look, they're a witch, clearly, because they're, like, look, there's nothing touching it, and it's moving, or whatever. Or you're holding him up before he falls and gets impaled, or something crazy like that.
And this is my story, and this is why I wanted to talk to you about this. I'm 2 games in. I'm in this game, I'm like, I know what to do now. I'm lights out, right? I'm lights out. I start making my way through. I start picking the decisions. I start paying attention. I start choosing different things. Everybody lives.
Everyone live for you?
Well, wait for it. Everybody's alive. The curator goes, I'll offer you a hint. And I say, no thanks. Don't need one, buddy. I know it's coming. Push through to the next curator. Oh, everybody's still alive. And he's just like, you've kept everybody alive. And I was like, yeah, I know, because I'm good. And then he's like, you want a hint? I'm like, no, I don't want a hint. I'm so confident with what I'm doing right now, I'm in. So let me ask you this before I continue. You get to the final house. How many people were alive for you?
Everyone.
Okay, so then never mind. Okay, so I got to the final house, and everybody was alive, and I was like, oh, baby, I'm doing this. Before we go into this, how many people walk out of that house for you?
So how many again? 1, 2.
There's 5 of them.
4.
4 walked out?
Why?
I had 1 walk out.
Oh no! Stop. Really?
No, 2. Technically 2. Actually, I had 2 walk out.
No way.
Oh yeah, it was a slaughter in there. Oh. Buddy. It was a slaughter in that house, and I knew so. So who died for you?
Just Taylor.
Okay.
She got the thing wrapped around her neck and they pulled her back in.
And all those deaths were so graphic.
Well, the weird thing was like it made no sense because we walked out and I'm like, why is she not moving? She just stood there and just watched her get like.
I have another
and,
question
like,
for you.
out.
When you go up into the bedroom, did all of them except for her come up with you to the bedroom too?
I don't remember.
Okay, so like when I went up to the bedroom, I realized I didn't actually think anything of it. So I walk up to the bedroom and it's only me and Angela that go up to the bedroom.
You know, so you and Angela got out?
Yes.
That's why?
Yeah, I think so. So we have the whole thing, and I have to pick, obviously, do I condemn the little girl, or do I, like, get the priest blamed, right?
Yeah.
So obviously I get the priest blamed, and the little girl, whatever, and she's like, you did it, you did your best. I was like, okay, and then I was like, it's kind of weird, it's just Angela up here, but maybe because they keep dividing you up, right? So maybe that's just what happens.
Yeah.
We walk out of the house, and it's just Angela and I walking out of the house, and everybody else is inside, and then the house starts collapsing, and I was like, they're going to get their way out. I killed this. I did the best that I could. I dominated this game. Like, I got this. And then the deaths were just, I can't get over how graphic they were. Like,
so Taylor, Dennis, and James all just get brutal.
So James gets his neck broken and they like rip his jaw off. Dennis gets impaled by the guy with spikes, but then he also rips it through the back of his head and it comes out his eyes on the end of it. And then Taylor gets choked out.
Yeah, that one, she gets choked and like dragged away.
So I'm sitting there and it's just me and Angela and I'm just like...
And the worst part is you can't do anything about it. You're like, what just happened? I can't do anything.
I literally was sitting there and I was like, boy, that shook me up. Like, that was not what because I was feeling so good. Everybody was living. Everybody was, like, killing it. Angela fell into the sewer for me. And I actually knew. I was like, she's getting out of there. There's no chance.
Yeah, you didn't show anything. Just showed her, like, get crawled away.
But I also said, there's no chance. She's not getting out of there. She's going off. Like, there's no chance. And she came back, right?
Yeah. Same with Dennis. He falls through the floor.
Yeah, but I went down with him.
Oh, you went down?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't go down.
Yeah.
I let him, like, fight it out, though.
Oh, man, no, Anthony and I went down there. But Anthony actually did nothing. Dennis did all the fighting. Yeah. Anthony was just like, oh, I'm scared. And I was like, but at least they're both down there together was my thought process. Yeah. So, yeah. And then the ending happens. And... the ending, I was so interested in this. I googled the endings. There was like 4 crazy different endings. So mine was, let me ask you this. Did you take a shot at Vince? So did I. Pissed him right off.
Yeah.
So was your ending back of a police car?
Yep.
Okay, so was mine. So basically Vince is just like, you, blah, 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 and you find out the house fire was real, right? You find out the whole house fire situation actually happened.
You turn into the bus driver and you're like, and your ears burnt because you're playing as Anthony.
When you turned to the bus driver, that was nuts.
Yeah, that actually threw me off because I was like, oh, that's why. And then you're senile and you're thinking of all like your family members and you're just trying to play.
No, it's not senile. You had the concussion from the crash.
Yeah, but remember the beginning when he comes on the bus, like, I got these people, I gotta get.
Oh, right, true.
There's no one in the bus. There's no one in the bus. And the police officer looks at him like,
okay, buddy. He goes, I think they'll be fine with little detour.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I was devastated. 3 massive deaths for me.
See, that's why it was just like I didn't get the ending. That's why I was told you, I'm like I don't understand this game. because like I just didn't understand why they all got killed again, or Taylor got killed for me.
So you know how I googled this because I was so frustrated. Did you see the eyes? It flashed what was locked in terms of character traits for her.
Oh, you gotta unlock them all?
You have to, like, unlock them all through the playthrough.
Okay.
So, like, for example, it's saying, like, she was not heroic, or she was not, like, passionate, or she was not blah, 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 and that's what causes her downfall. That's what caused her to die. So, for me, I played it to be honest, I played it very safe with everybody, which is what you should do in Until Dawn, and what you should do in the other game, right? Play it safe, like you said.
Yeah.
I played it safe in this one, and it ruined me. Angela is the only one that got out. So the other... So
I didn't notice, like, before you went on further, I did notice that midway through the game, like, I'm like, this is just the family members dying, and Anthony doesn't die, so you won't have a spirit chasing him, and he's just kind of along for the ride. They're not chasing after him either, because they chase after their double.
Can I tell you something nuts? Anthony does die in the end if you play the wrong card. Do you want to know what it is?
Yeah.
So after...
Does he burn himself?
What?
Does he just light himself on
fire? No,
fire?
he shoots himself in the head with a gun.
Oh, you can choose that. I remember that. Yeah.
You could choose that?
No, but I remember reading something after you could kill yourself.
I
read comment, but I didn't I didn't put it together.
So you can basically, like, it depends on how Anthony, I guess, has dealt with Vince, and like Vince is Jesus Christ, and then Vince is like, okay, like, he tells him everything, and Anthony realizes what he'd done, and you know how you get the gun? So there's two options with the gun. Option 1 is you put the gun in your mouth and you shoot yourself. Option 2 is if you use the 4 bullets or 5 bullets that were in the gun, you click it and it's an empty chamber.
Damn.
It's.
I heard there's a good ending though. That you can if you have a good relationship with Vince, he doesn't call the cops.
Yeah, he takes you to the bar.
Yeah. And
you sit at the bar. And, like, everybody...
He forgives you, basically.
He forgives you, and you've come to terms with all the deaths. Because obviously you haven't come to terms with the deaths.
And you realize, if you notice, if you're, like, exploring the high school, that was his sister's, like, boyfriend. Vince's.
So...
Vince is the boyfriend of Taylor, or quote-unquote Tiana, or whatever her name was. Like, the dream.
Yeah, but, like, I didn't find any information on that.
I did.
Because, like, what I found is at the factory... I found a picture of Vince and, like, a white girl, but, like, her face was ripped off.
So that's what I found. That's what I meant.
How'd you know that was her,
Because they talk about the bidding dream when she's like, oh, she's out with her boyfriend again and whatever, Vince. They'd say his name.
But I'll tell you what, I didn't put together that Vince was the boyfriend.
I did. That's why I remember.
So I
because at the beginning in the store in the dream they say something about like, oh, she's out with her boyfriend Vince or whatever.
Oh, they say Vince?
I think they do, and they're like, and they say like, I don't like that guy or something.
I'll be honest, I literally was like.
Now I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what clicked for me. And then when I saw like pitch, I'm like, oh, that's your sister, but like it's with Vince, and Vince was the boyfriend.
Okay, I didn't know. Like I said,
I'd like to look at it myself just to make sure I'm right, not just like saying that. But I'm pretty sure.
No, I believe you though. Like I believe you. There's definitely again
because then he's at the funeral.
Yeah,
and he sees you.
But he was also like 16.
I know, but he was that was his girlfriend, so he went to the funeral.
I know, but I'm just saying he was 16, so I didn't know it was the same dude when he's like 50 something.
Oh yeah, but then it clicks after you're done because he's fucking 58.
I love when Vince goes up to him. He goes, "They're on their way." Like how powerful was that flashback when all it does is just start showing how nuts this guy is.
Yeah, because he's just like but it's also weird how Vince is just by himself in this abandoned town.
Oh, for sure.
Doesn't really like explain that.
I completely agree. I think Vince is just broken, to be honest with you. Like I think he's just he's an alcoholic. He's an old drunk.
Yeah.
He's just ruined. Which, like, is, man, like, again, just...
Did you have the drink in the bar with him?
No. Did you?
I didn't either. I said none for me, thanks.
Yeah, me too. As the frickin', like, as the professor, like, as James or whatever.
Yeah.
So, man, like, just the exploration... I found the horror in this game was just haunting to me. Like, I thought that this stuck with me in terms of, like, spookiness. So, this is the other part of the story I wanted to tell you and wait for the pod for, and I just want to, like, openly just say this, because it's, like, it's pretty nuts. So... I went, the night I finished this, I went to bed, and I woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of my AC turning on, but my AC was off and it can only turn on from a remote. And at like 3 a.m, I hear beep beep, and I open my eyes and I see the AC flap opening and it starts spraying out air. And I was like, I was actually horrified.
Like you didn't want to move, you froze.
I was literally like, what turned this on? My AC's not on a timer. This is off. It's never done this before. And then I found the remote in my bed. So I guess I must have rolled on it or something like that. But
just froze you.
I was horrified. I literally was terrified of what was going on. But yeah, so it was pretty.
So this game's really stuck with you.
It's great. It was so good. I can't believe how good it was.
I wish I didn't shoot at Vince because I feel like that would have. I think that was the big.
That is.
What he calls copper.
And to be honest, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. So when we were literally kind of talking about like, do nothing sometimes. That's the exact example that I was thinking about, because for me, I saw that I could shoot the monster and I saw Vince was right there and I was like, I'm still going to shoot the monster. But then I was like, no. Like, I shouldn't have done that. Even before I knew it would end to Vince, I was just like, because clearly, this wastes a bullet that I don't need to waste, because bullets aren't going to stop.
And Vince doesn't see this thing I see.
Yeah, exactly. And Vince doesn't see this thing that I see, so like, what are we gonna...
Yeah, and it was weird because I just don't get like the whole. I get the witch trial stuff, but I just don't understand why that like really ties into the game. It just like
it's just the history of the town.
I know, but the town itself is like not Salem.
Well, he's born from that town, right?
Yeah, that's a little hope. But you think they would just call it Salem and just been like, "This is Salem witch trials."
No, because the whole point is that like there wasn't just witch trials in Salem though. They were all over.
Yeah.
So like it's just a small because Salem's so big, you couldn't do that in
You
Salem.
ever notice in the beginning game you can find that book and you look at it, it's New England like witch trials, and it's a book about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm just really bothered by like, okay, so you find all the deaths. It makes sense why the flashbacks, which I guess were real, in a sense, where like they're seeing these other people die like that.
No, they're not.
Oh, it's just
no, they're confirmed not real.
He just made them up.
No. So you have to again. So he grew up in that town, and as you can see from that town, there's the Witch's Trail, there's the Witchcraft Museum, there's so much like witch stuff that he grew up with that history in the town. He knew all of this. He knew how they killed witches. He knew, and his brain with the concussion and his brain clearly already unhinged is now linking his family, who he can't accept was his family, as people that he's there with, and he's tying them to, like, it's a fractured mind, right?
Yeah.
He's bringing in these people and being like, this person was in the witch trial, when in reality that was his brother. But it's like, no, this person was a witch trial, this is how this person died. And, like, he's relating these deaths from the witch trial, because they had so many really fucked up ways of testing and killing witches back in the day.
Yeah.
So he's more along the lines of, like, this person's gonna die, or, like, this... He's just tying them together. So it's his mind that's unable to accept the fact that this actually happened, and it's fragmenting into the history of the town, going to the town, and what actually happened to the town, and trying to make something out of it.
Okay.
So it's pretty much just this guy's just off his rock. And like I said, I'll say it again, I was so impressed. Like, the type of horror was amazing. Those creatures, like, they were all so scary in their own right.
I like the hung girl was like dragging her like toes across.
I was gonna bring that up.
That was terrifying.
Like, for me, just the clicking sound on the concrete of her just like,
yeah, the nails.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
I actually have chills from that. Like, that was creepy, and like. I loved how the speared up guy, like, it would show his legs and they had like the spears through them, and he was like like could barely walk. The crushed guy was horrifying because his bones were freaking
he a little like, he was almost like a Wendigo the way he moved around.
They were all so good.
Yeah. Like
I said, this, like, horror wise, this game checked probably every single box for me. I was glued to this. So we'll talk about this more in music, but one thing that really bothered me in this game that I didn't notice in any of the other games, and it's actually going to be a little bit of points off for music, they kind of do the build-up. Like the do whatever, but it's to try to psych you out because nothing actually happens. So remember when remember when you go to the Witchcraft Museum?
Yeah.
And there's the part where you're playing as Dennis and Taylor, and there's all the like hanging bodies and one of them drops. That was terrifying right off the bat. But like not even to do with that. After that, you're walking around and you hear like the sound trying to build up to something scary happening, and then it falls off, but nothing scary happens. So it's like trying to psych you out through that, and I didn't like that. Like I thought that was a bad choice of music.
Yeah.
And like this is the only game that they might have done in the other games, but this is the only game where I actually that exact example I sit there and I actually was like, oh,
that was lame.
Like really? Like,
yeah. I have a question now. So we kind of talked on the whole game aspect of it. Now with Mary, or is Megan or Mary?
So it's Megan is the real girl's name. Mary is
the old one.
Yeah.
So with Megan, did you at least like look into why like the whole like omen thing was on her and how she started the fire? And she talked to the story. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and does it.
So that's what I wanted to get back to. I'm glad this is the whole conversation I want to have.
This is the big thing I didn't really piece together the whole game.
I have two theories on that, but I don't know. Theory number one is that it's proving that like demons actually exist. Like it's actually saying like very like, oh, the Wendigo's real. It's actually saying this girl was actually possessed, and a demon told her to burn her house down.
Yeah.
The other option is she has schizophrenia or some sort of mental illness, so she's.
This is what you read?
No, this is my read.
Your theory. Okay.
But this makes sense. I think I can't imagine anything else, right? Like, because you see like the demon hands, right? Do you remember that? Like, the hand that you see is very demonic.
The next line from her is like, "I think I will do it."
Yeah.
Or something like
that.
Yeah,
because exactly she's talking, but like, and that's the thing is like, that's real life. What happened there? So I think that again, it's saying demons are real or like ghosts or whatever are real, or it's saying that she had a mental illness and she thought something was telling her to burn the house down. There's two different options.
But she also locked the door on her mom so she couldn't get out.
I know, but that's again, it could be either one, right? Like, why are there serial killers, right? Like, they're fucked.
I still think it's wild though that like the brother and the sister died. Like, you could have easily just slid off the side of the house and landed on your feet and probably broken an ankle.
Yeah, I agreed.
Like both of them technically. Like even him, he was a little higher up, but even if he slid onto the deck and then or something.
To be honest, they should have made.
There's no way he just like slips like a loser like that and falls through like spikes. But then again, who knows? But like if it's a little, like just slide off it, just land on the snow.
It was also so ridiculous. The one part I didn't like was somehow how he got framed for the murder. Like they were like, he's holding the match. He's like, "What did you do?"
Yeah, and he freaks out and runs inside.
But the running inside was part of the dream. Oh, no, it wasn't, because he actually didn't run inside. Right, yeah.
He freaked. He got scared. He wanted to try and save someone. His mom or something. I don't know.
Well, so I had to choose between Mary and the sister, right?
I took the sister.
I chose the sister, too. I wonder what would have happened if you chose Mary.
You would have went inside regardless, but everyone would have died probably the same way.
Because she probably would have slipped or whatever, yeah.
So I don't... The funniest thing, though, is, like, I noticed it so heavily. I'm like, well, this is not going to end well. Is when, like, you're... Like, for your example, when you're reaching for the drain pipe, and I'm like, oh, that's a scarf's very long on her.
Oh, you noticed that?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
And I watched the scarf, I'm like, well... Like, immediately, because it sticks out, it moves. I'm like, well, that scarf's going to do something.
I didn't notice that at all. That's a good pickup from you. Yeah. I 100% didn't notice that.
So, I laughed, though, because I was like, well, that scarf doesn't look safe, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, the scarf just, like, literally hangs her. I'm like, well, so I guess I was right.
I was going to say, I've spent a lot of time talking about what I liked and how this is my type of horror. I even had that weirding, like me laying on the frickin' air conditioner remote after that, and I was freaked out. And this game kind of stuck with me in terms of, like, spookiness. Like, I was kind of like, oh, that's still kind of creepy.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to hear your thoughts. Did you jump out of your seat at any point?
I didn't really jump out of my seat because I felt like a lot of it was, like, I think going into this as the third game I played of it, and playing through Until Dawn twice.
Yeah.
And Medan and Medan twice. I'm kind of, like, in the realm of I knew what kind of what you said, like, oh, I know what's going on in this, but there's still aspects of it that bothered me. Like, it wasn't like I was not like just like stone cold silent when I got grabbed, like you said, by like those things. They scream in your face.
You kind of jump, right?
Yeah, I'm like, well,
I'm not saying I jumped out of my spot, but
I'm not scared. It's more like, well, that's fucking annoying. Like, I didn't want you to yell at me just now. Like, come on.
But I guess the question is like, and I guess we'll talk about it when we rate the story. But like, let's just honestly talk story for a second. Like, just kind of stand alone. Like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this game? I know it's such a broad question, but like, what do you think of this game?
I really liked it. I do like the history of the witch trials. That stuff's really cool and interesting to me.
Again, that's like.
I still think Until Dawn was probably the best of the three at this point.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, okay.
I just feel like the thing with the with these three games is they're all very short, and they're very like the pace is pretty fast on them. I feel like, while Until Dawn has a slower pace, I felt like a little bit.
And so
and there's more to the story than meets the eye. While these are like. They're very like you're expecting something to kind of do that twist at the end, which I'm okay with. Like I said, this was like an interesting twist at the end when you find out it was just a one get count.
I thought the twist at the end of this game was unparalleled so far. Like I thought it was like something that was just like I thought that was a bigger twist than when Rami Malek was like, I'm actually the fake serial killer. Like I'm actually the fake maniac.
The only thing I didn't like about Until Dawn was I felt like the Wendigo thing is kind of, again, I don't think it's real. Like I don't think it's a real.
And that's why I like seeing those black like creepy fingers in the thing because it's like.
But I have weird feelings like ghosts and shit like that is kind of like a real thing.
We talked about this just on the last pod.
I don't think if I ate your flesh right now in a couple days I'd be like I'm Wendigo guy.
But again, you have to realize what they're doing is they're taking different things, right? They're taking like.
I understand. Yeah. I'm just saying I feel like a dark omen over someone is way more believable and like actually someone having a devil like spirit in them. Rather than just being like, oh, you eat someone and you become a monster.
In the night,
it's like, okay.
But, I mean, you also have to realize that we don't talk about that kind of stuff anymore. Like, that's folklore now. Whereas, totally. Possession and stuff is still very talked about in today's society.
And there's so many pop culture references
Which is why probably we get more freaked out by that is because we get more exposure to it, right?
Yeah, totally. And there's, like, pop culture references about it every fucking day, basically. Like, there's always movies about horror stuff, about possession, about, like, anything.
All that kind of...
You touch Annabelle... The Conjuring.
Totally.
What's the movie from the 70s? Like the actual like name.
Amityville Horror.
Like that one was a big one. The actual one where the girl gets possessed and it's a real possession thing and they talk about it like her getting the demons out of it and you like literally recite like Bible verses to them. Yeah, the Exorcist is the movie that I was talking about. It was like she spins her head and like pukes on it. Like that shit's terrifying to me. I do not like anything horror. If I was in a like one of these situations or like a ghost thing, I'm like, I'm out. I'm just either I'm leaving right now. I'm not exploring.
Oh, I would explore.
I'm out.
I would explore. See,
out.
The difference is
like for example, if you showed me a Ouija board right now, Luke, and said let's play, I'd be like, I'm gone. See ya. Yeah, I'm not fucking with it.
That's fair.
I don't want to fuck with it.
That's fair. And I mean, so like, did this? Like I said, this kind of gave me the chills after the game was done. Did you get that from this at all?
No chills.
Were you just kind of like, ooh, that was kind of like spooky. Like that. I
was more annoyed at the end of the game because I didn't get the answers I wanted about Megan, like actually having the
but I think that's supposed to be. I think that's supposed to be.
Even the part at the beginning when like you like basically drive the bus into like making it flip. It's because you see her in the street.
Yeah. And
she's just standing there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was him like just visualizing.
Of course it is because this is where he was already losing his mind, and then when he has to go back to the town where his sister died, of course he's going to see his sister standing in the middle of the road. It's like again, he thinks there's people in the back of his freaking bus.
That's fair. But I didn't know if that was her actual like ghost like thing coming back or whatever. Like
no, I think this game, the only thing that could potentially be real is whatever was with Megan. That for me is sort of the only thing that I could see as being like this could actually like be something.
Yeah, so like that part bothered me because they don't explain it. But the ending was a good twist. I still enjoyed it. It wasn't a spook. It was more annoyance. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize. I didn't really pick up on that myself. Like, I kind of messed up. And then I realized the whole Vince thing, and then you see it play back, and it's just you, and you're like
you know what? So and that was really funny. So when the curator was talking, he would be like, oh, so I'm assuming you've pieced a little bit together by now, and I'm like, I haven't. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Like I haven't pieced a thing together here, sir. Like I am just like I am still going blind here. And he's like, everything's not what it seems. And I was like, well, obviously I can tell that the only clue that I picked up was that those ghosts weren't being seen by everybody because Vince was just chilling. Right? Like
yeah, but the weird thing was Vince was chilling and like in Vince's perspective at the beginning, it's like, how would he not react at all to like a random person just walking in this like deserted crowd and he's like, hey.
I don't think he knew who he was at first.
No, but still just a random dude just like that's so creepy. Like imagine just like you're like.
Well, he said, have you seen the bus driver? But he's wearing the bus driver outfit.
That's why he's like, haha, you're pretty funny. That's what he says because You are the bus driver.
And I like how they were just like, this guy's hammered before,
Yeah.
but it's like, no, he's not. He's saying things that make sense. We're just not picking up on them.
Yeah, and then I like how like you're just playing darts against yourself.
Yeah.
And you like nail them all, and you're like, I still got it. And this guy's probably just sitting there drinking. He's like, what the fuck?
100%. Like, 100%. And like, I loved when it like, again, I love in the police car when it just shakes off and he's the bus driver and you're like.
And then he's like, don't worry guys, I'm gonna be alright. So they're like, oh, you're taking Anthony, what's going on?
Who? That's what they're saying?
Oh, because you had them all dead, basically.
I only had Angela, and she
they're
didn't
all
say
like,
that.
They're like, oh, what are you taking him? He's like, don't worry guys, it'll be alright. That's
So
what
it's
it did.
that's, okay, so like I always.
But I
thought,
don't know what he's going to jail for. He didn't do anything technically. Like he shot at him, but it didn't hit. Like you can. Still
yeah,
shoot
you're
a gun.
right. Well, no, but I think he probably calls like there's a mentally disturbed guy with a gun here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, they'd still take him away at least and like figure it out. I wish.
There's the same cop too that like.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Here's a question: did you get an after credit scene in this one, or like a? I didn't.
No, it was just the
preview for.
No, yeah, it was just basically what's his face telling us we'll see you next time.
Yeah,
again.
yeah, okay.
And then he says like maybe somewhere in the Sahara Desert.
Yeah, that was so good.
Which is where
House
the
of
Ashes
Ashes,
is. Yes.
So the other thing that I thought was really, really cool, and I don't know if you noticed this, but in that last final house at the end, there's a postcard. And it's for Ashley Tisdale dying in House of Ashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
like,
they did that in Man of Medan too.
Did they?
They showed something from Little Hope.
Oh, I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, they always kind of like little preview. I'm curious, like, they probably did they make all these games at the same time, just sat on them?
No, you're gonna get a preview for the new game.
No, I know. I know, but I'm saying House of Ashes came out last October, 2021. Yeah. So, and this game's gonna come out probably in 2023.
No, but it's like,
did they already make it, or they just have like a preview of it?
Preview. They have some stuff. Like they literally probably have a preview from it, and that's the first thing they work on. They storyboard the entire story, and then they basically are just like, okay, like, let's make a preview so people will be interested in going into this.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, yeah, but again, I love the postcard was so good. Seeing like Ashley, like they're giving you a hint for a death and.
If she falls through, I think it's impaled or whatever it was.
Yeah. And I was just like, okay, so this is kind of cool.
I think. Are you diving in it tonight after we're done?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna dive into it closer to when we record because I know we have a couple weeks, off.
As I'll be on vacation next week, and then.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
like, I'm actually gonna turn a light on because it's getting kind of dark in here.
Yeah, so I mean, like this game, I think we should jump into the ratings at this point. To be honest. I think unless you have anything really else to touch on, I think we should really actually look into it right now and just make sure we're on the right page with what's going on with the little like black hand.
I did, and I didn't see. I couldn't find anything. No, not just, but like, but
I just don't understand how there's not anything like really touching on that. Like, I think that's the biggest part of the game, in my opinion.
I'm gonna Google it right now.
It really bothered me. Like, I didn't really look into it after. I was like, well, that's kind of lame.
Black hand near Megan in Little Hope. Right? Like, that's what we're... Yeah, it doesn't say anything. Oh, it does. Megan's Demon Explained.
Okay.
Who is the... Yeah. Oh my god, this is nuts. I'm trying to, like... Megan's friend. Here. Who's the demon that talks... Oh my gosh. Who is the demon that talks with Megan, and where did it come from? No reference him in the ending, blah, 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 blah. Don't know about Megan's friend. It's never explained. They didn't need to. Yeah, there it is. They're just saying you could think. There it is. You could think it's actually a bit of supernatural, or it's mental illness. That's literally what I'm saying here. Or another trying to be deeper mental illness metaphor with hearing, the girl saying, or hearing something whispering in her ear, like is it schizophrenia?
Yeah, she lights her Dell on fire.
That's what I'm saying. So it could be...
I also think that was crazy how fast the whole kitchen caught on fire. Like, she put it up there for, like, on top of the fucking, like, stove. It wasn't, like, off the stove.
And then it fell off.
And then everything just, like...
Well, then let me ask you this. Don't you think maybe that is demons at play?
Potentially. Like, it makes more sense, like, if you watch them, like, that escalated way too fast.
Oh,
and I forgot about that. Like, the sister gets locked outside, too, upstairs.
Yeah.
It's like, that bitch locked me up.
Just try to save her, maybe. Right?
No, it was a schizophrenic chick just locking everyone in rooms.
But like no, but
even he was locked in the attic. Remember?
Yeah, but lock the sister. But my point is, lock the sister outside.
Yeah, but then she locked Dennis inside.
Agreed, though. But like, it seems to me,
took the ladder and everything.
But it seems to me like the sister being locked outside is like, don't go in the house to die. At least you're outside where you can save yourself. But
yeah.
Oh my god, I might actually break you right now.
Yeah.
I might actually break you right now. So we're sitting here and we're trying to discuss, is Megan mentally ill, or is Megan possessed or in contact with a demon?
Yeah.
Do you think the freak accidents towards the sister and like Dennis and not Julia, what's her name? Dennis and Taylor? Do you think that those freak accidents, as in him tripping on the roof and falling to his death and her getting her scarf caught and choking, is the work of the demon?
Like tripping her, and
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like it seems
it is
like
icy. They played off like the icy accident, and like they slipped.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, they just don't.
Why
Anthony,
the fire?
Why
but
would they just kill Anthony though too? Because he was like nice to her. Were you nice to Megan the whole time?
Yeah.
Even in the house at the beginning, like
yeah,
piss off like Bigfoot, or like he's just a kid, like relax, dude.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
I'm, like so upset.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens if you played like the opposite. I feel like nothing would happen.
No, you'd have to survive it.
Yeah,
still.
you have to survive.
But
it
no,
still.
I wonder if. Or he might have just escaped by accident because he had to go outside for a second to get something. Remember?
Did he?
Yeah.
No, he went outside to like check on his sister because she was like yelling outside. So he went outside. He's like, "What's going on?" Then he tried to go back in.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe
she locked the door too.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, so he's locked outside.
Oh, so maybe he tried. I don't know.
I was nuts that the dad was so wasted he wouldn't wake up from all that smoke and fire.
And then he was like trying to like.
He's like, and he like break the window, and he's just like,
dude. I mean, they said like the wife said he had 10 beers before he got home, and then he was drinking more beers on the couch. So like, the guy was like toast.
Did you talk to him?
Yeah.
It was so nuts. So he's like, "You kids are a problem." He's like, "I don't know why like we even deal with you."
He's like, "Stop talking."
Yeah, and you're like, "Okay."
I actually played it off because I didn't know what I was doing. I played it off so timid. I was like, "I'm sorry, Father."
Yeah.
I'll keep it quiet next time.
He's like, "Yeah, that's right too." I'm like,
or you can be like, "Shut the fuck up, old man." Like, there's like, it's nuts how like, but yeah, I was just
I was timid too. I'm like, "Hey, like, you need me to do anything?" He's like, "You know what? Like, you guys are like the biggest burden in my life." And he's like,
too bad I counted my own kids.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
But I like how we keep coming back to it because I think it is a massive point in the story. It's kind of just like, what's the deal with Megan's demon?
It really bothers me.
No, but that's how it's supposed to be, though. Don't you see? Like that's how it's supposed to be. I mean, there's also the third theory that I just thought of now. Was that was his dream, he said. So maybe he thought she was being possessed by a demon, and that demon was just his broken subconscious.
Yeah.
Because he was seeing all the demons here, right? So it could have just been, it was his dream. Like, that's not exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because he says, "Oh, I had the weirdest dream."
So it's just...
There's a lot of different questions, and I love that about this game. So I mean, I know you want to jump into the ratings, and I'm obviously so good with that.
That obviously was that happened though. It wasn't like a made up dream or how he remembered it.
But like
he just got. I also hate how he like freaked out because he was holding the matches. Like like he caused that to happen.
That was really stupid to me. That bothered me. That was the one. Yeah.
Like who walks by and sees him with the matches and assumes he killed everyone? It's like, no, you idiot! It was a fucking house fire from like the stove.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So like going into ratings again. I say again because we...
I also want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
The curator, one line before you go to the funeral part, was so nuts. It's like, "I do love a good funeral."
Yeah,
he says he closes like, the book, and it was like so good.
Like honestly, again, he's killing it. The O Death was... I actually didn't like the O Death in this one.
It was more metal, right?
Yeah, and it like I also don't really like the opening sequence of him like walking through the halls.
Oh, the curator?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like weird. I
thought it was kind of nice.
It's the same one every time though. I like him too, but it was, I don't know. It was just, it's funny because obviously we don't talk a lot about the curator because the stories have so much to talk about.
Yeah, no, and also the curator's kind of like, sometimes I feel like it like, did you notice a few times it like glitches a little bit?
No.
Like you'll like skip to like a next scene of him walking.
No.
Oh, it's so creepy. I think that's one of the creepiest things about him. It's like he'll say something like, and do like the head twitch thing, and also next thing you know, it's just him just walking, and like it's like where there's like a weird freeze frame cut, and he's just like walking. I'm like, is that supposed to happen? Like,
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's like a weird, like it gives him like the weird Omen vibe too, like just how he like moves around.
Maybe not. No, I don't think so.
I like him. I'm all about it.
I like him too. Yeah. So characters, I'm gonna start.
And this was the first time. Sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
This is the first time you actually choose if you want a hint or not in this game.
Did you say yes?
No.
You said no to both too?
I don't want hints. Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes when I play the next game.
Because like the hint part, I felt like if I said yes, like something bad was gonna happen. Like, he's literally setting you up to like lose.
There's also one last thing before we get to the rings I really have to talk about. So we talked about how in the last one they changed it from obviously the standing still to the tapping of A or of X. They made this game too easy.
With tapping, I think so too.
You want to know why too? Because they actually give you a heads up when you're about to need to press a button.
Yeah.
The other games didn't do that. There was no heads up. Like here it goes like ding, and you're like, okay, there's gonna be combat in a second. I have to move this thing to hit somebody.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that.
No,
give me quick time.
I think that's also why I was crushing it.
But do you think that if you put it on, what were you playing on? The easiest mode?
I didn't. Can you pick
There's 3 modes. There's 3. There's lethal, which is like you're basically assuming everyone's gonna die. There's competitive, which is normal, like middle, and there's like easy mode, like just like kind of like you're just doing the story.
I don't remember picking one.
Yeah, I think you can choose difficulty. I know for a fact you can.
But like you must start at like the middle one.
Maybe not in this one. Maybe it was House of Ashes when you start doing that.
Yeah, because there's
still like this like when they give you like the updates like that, it's like I feel like it's too easy.
Well, it is because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to start pressing buttons. Let's get ready. Whereas the other one's just like, surprise, motherfucker.
Like have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Hope you don't like die here.
Totally. So
even the quick time events in this game I thought were so easy compared to the other ones.
That's because of that though.
But not even that. It was like, oh, you're climbing over the blocks. Oh, I slipped once. Don't worry, you picked up and you're okay. It's like okay.
Whereas you think about Conrad in your old game, he missed one, he's toast.
He fell, yeah.
And I wonder, but here's what I wonder if this game they did that on purpose though, because it creates that false sense of hope, which I was all about. Like they make the quick time events easy and stuff, but then if you don't do the right responses, everybody gets butchered at the end. I don't know. That's just my thought on it.
I just think I'm kind of upset I had Taylor die. It doesn't really matter, I guess. It also it freezes that death sequence at the end there when Anthony's looking through like no hope, like just dead inside a little bit. Was the same reaction he had when he was looking through the window like watching everyone die.
Notice that.
Yeah, because he's like before in the house he's like trying to he's like get out and he just watches everyone like die basically.
So couple questions. Number one, was that his family home that the last one was in? It was,
yeah,
right?
But I thought it burned down. That's why I was confused, but it was.
Okay.
It didn't fully burn down.
Question 2 is, and you probably won't remember.
Most house fires don't burn right to the crisp anyways.
But like, so another weird question for you, and you might not remember this. How many traits did you have left on her? Do you remember if it was 1 or was it a couple?
Okay.
Because like I was gonna say for me,
I wasn't like a super invested in that part of like.
Because for me, some of them was like 1, but some of them were like 3. Like
no, I was pretty like accurate with how the other ones acted.
Yeah, I mean you did really because you're supposed to play off of the traits you're given.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that. I just played them all kind of like safe.
Yeah, you gotta play them off their traits.
Because somebody was like, you weren't heroic with this character, and I was like, oh, but that's because I asked for help. Like there was one where it's like heroic. I can do this run, or so my question is, I wonder if this game, because they were.
I did that one with like John. He's like, just go without me.
Oh, you made him say that?
Yeah.
No, I said help me.
No, I said just go without me. I'm good. I got this myself.
But he holds it and survives.
Yeah, because the thing's fake and doesn't do anything.
So, but what I was gonna say is, I basically like. Yeah, I didn't play that very well, but I also think because you say like, oh, the quick times were easy, and they were. Question: what are the quick times like in House of Ashes? Back to being fucked?
You know what? I've just kind of recently started it. I don't really remember a lot of quick time.
So I'm curious if in this game they try to give you that false sense of hope, because this game was all about unlocking character traits.
There was a couple, but I can't remember if there was like I think it might tell you again, like, hey.
So I wonder if character traits are going to play. I don't really like the character traits playing the role in the end. Like
maybe it's just for that game though.
That's what I'm hoping.
Because it's how you perceive them, and all of a sudden you don't perceive them the right way, so they get killed.
Agreed, and that's what I'm kind of hoping it's going to stay at. But I mean, we'll see.
House of Ashes is like straight up like military, like in the
which is
like,
again
modern day.
another story that's not really interesting for me.
But it takes place in Egypt when they're going after Sedaine.
Yeah, it's called
It's not
I think Sumerian is what the culture is called that they find, but they find that abandoned city. It's very like the vibe of it for me is very Uncharted.
Yeah, it reminded me of Assassin's Creed, to be fair.
Okay.
Now the beginning though, I think you'll hate because I didn't really like the beginning.
Okay, and we'll talk about that on the next one. But
yeah.
So if we want to jump rating wise, I'm gonna go into characters. I like them. But there was really no character growth. Like, I find that everybody...
But there was supposed to. You just didn't do it right. That's why 3 died.
But I guess for me, there's the character changes on Anthony, and I thought that was pretty cool. So, I'm gonna go 4. No, I'm gonna go 3.5 on this one. I can't give it much higher because my experience was the characters just kind of were, like, very, like, how they were the whole time.
Yeah, I like them. I would say 4.
You're gonna go 4 on that one?
I just think it's how Anthony perceives them, and also like it was weird because they had different names every time. It was like Anthony, Andrew, and they like Dennis was like actually like something else, like
Danny, I think, yeah,
like, something like that. Like Taylor wasn't Taylor. I know it was like Tiana or something like that.
Yeah, because I found a bunch of stuff. I actually found out, yeah, for sure. Going into the background, 5, easy 5, easiest 5 I've given in a long time because. Again, it checks so many boxes for me. The whole Blair Witch vibe, the whole creepy town, exploring the old buildings, reading the old stuff. Like, everything checked boxes for me in that. And not to mention, there was so much to explore. So many cool lore pieces that I was actually interested in reading. 5 for me, without a doubt.
Yeah, I'd say 5 too.
Very good. it was incredible.
I still think music, even because I didn't really notice that.
Like, I'm going.
I still think it's worth like the 5 in my opinion.
So I'm going 3.5 for music.
Ooh.
Just simply due to the fact... No, I'm going to give it a 4. Just simply due to the fact that...
Is that one thing?
But I mean, like, if I noticed it once, it definitely happened other times too, I don't think it would just be one time they did it.
Maybe, yeah. I didn't notice it, to be fair.
And that's what I'm saying, so it didn't affect your... Okay, but I'm actually going to go probably my highest on replayability out of all of these, because I want to try different things in this game really badly, because I'm so invested.
Yeah.
I would actually give replayability a 4. I'm going 4 on this one for replayability.
I would say for replayability, I'm probably going to do like a 2.5.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
Because I think I would want to play it again.
It's like... And
it's just so... You get so craved into like a story, be like, I want to know how other endings would happen. But then I'm like, also like, I can just YouTube it and just watch
and that's the thing. For me, it's weird because like I told you, I don't really care about the other endings that happen. But this one I do because I like the story so much, which leads us into story. This, for me, was by far the best story we've had so far. Beats Until Dawn, crushes Man of Medan. Like, it crushes all that. It's a 5. I don't think there's any other way around the fact that it's a 5 for me.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, just because I feel like there's just so many like layers again. Like that's why I like these games. There's so many layers to these stories. But this one was the most like again, I feel like there's the most like everything made sense at the end except for like the Omen thing, but made us got us talking. Which means it just sat with us that well. So like,
and like I said, I was genuinely unsettled for a bit after playing this game because it was just creepy.
It's so funny that you actually got
the
scared.
AC thing was nuts.
But I agree. Like that would terrify me too. Especially if you're like thinking like that doesn't know how that should work ever. It's just like if you're sitting here
and my TV went on,
or it's dead silent. Yeah, dead silence. And you know what? Sometimes this happens to me, and it freaks me the fuck out. Is I'll be getting ready for your bed, dead silent, and Google will be like, now playing this or something. I'm like, I didn't ask you any questions.
Yeah, actually. It's very similar, right? Like it's, I mean, the only difference is I had the remote and I was like, but again, I don't even know if I pressed, whatever, regardless.
Like sometimes if I say like a certain word, like if I'm talking, like sometimes if I'm, the TV maybe the Google picks up the TV saying something, so, but it's happened before. I'm just like playing a video game and all of a sudden it's like, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. I'm like, I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
So
and that throws me off.
And I mean, even that night, I remember going to bed. I was even kind of like the creaks or the elevator moving outside my building, like in my building.
One time we were sitting here and you hear that like the drop, and it sounded like someone was like jumping up top. That's just the roof for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like that was happening during the game and stuff too, like because that happens a lot up there.
Okay.
Like I said, it was just weird, man. So 5 for me. What are you giving it?
5.
5 as well.
Yep. It's be a high rated game.
And know what my favorite part about that is? We have the same rating.
You know what the funniest thing is right now?
What?
One of my friends just texted me. He's like, I can't believe I didn't know. Man of the Den was sick. The other 2 games were like $60. Is it worth it? I'm like, yeah.
100. Buy little. Then
I told him Until Dawn and The Quarry. Get them all.
Get them all. So, we have the same rating.
That's pretty. We don't do that a lot.
No, and it's massive.
Like a 8.5.
8.6.
Woo!
So we both gave this game 8.6. That doesn't happen in Gameaholic history normally. We're not normally both that high and that dialed. This is a bold statement that I'm going to say. I would have paid $80 for this game. Out the door. If somebody said to me, this is like a price of a new game, $79.99. Here's my fucking credit card, sir. Take this.
Start smacking on the table.
Take it. Yeah. Take it. I'm invested. We're putting so much money into these Supermassive games, and I have yet to find one where I say this isn't worth it.
I would say I would not probably pay Man of Medan $80.
No, me neither, for sure. But I'm saying we both got it for free, right? Yeah. So I'm just saying there hasn't been a...
Like, I feel like, what's a proper price tag of that game? We didn't say
$40. We did. $40.
Like, I was just saying, would you pay $40?
I would say 40 is the max I'd pay for that game.
Yeah, because it's pretty quick.
40 is the max I'd pay. But the moral of this story is this one is the best for both of us by far in terms of the rating system.
And of the Dark Anthology.
Yeah, but also even Until Dawn for me. It's higher than you gave Until Dawn.
What would we have Until Dawn at?
You gave it 8.4, I gave it 7.6.
Okay, yeah.
So, like...
It's a good story.
It is a great story. The nice thing is, we kind of spoiled parts of it, but you'll have a completely different playthrough than I had, and look at the difference. I thought I was killing it. 1 survivor other than Anthony. You, 3 survivors other than Anthony. Like...
I think it's known to Anthony will survive no matter what. I don't think he can die.
Other than the ending.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. He can't die. Yeah. I agree with that. So, anyways, thank you for tuning in. We are so excited to be going through the Dark Pictures Anthology. Next week we say next week, but we actually won't be recording for a while. But our next episode will be on House of Ashes, which is going to be the 3rd installment in the series. It has Ashley Tisdale as the main star, as I believe a military personnel in Iraq or like somewhere.
She's like a lieutenant.
Iran, in the Middle East.
Yeah, I think it's the Iraqian war. I think it's 2003. 2003 is when it takes place in Iraq.
Okay.
Iraq 2003. That's when it starts.
Okay. So we're really excited to dive into that. But as of right now, anybody watching, anybody listening, buy Little Hope. Buy Little Hope. If you're uncertain about if you're gonna like this style of game, Man of Medan is free on PlayStation right now. It's the game of the month. Buy it. Just get involved. We're loving this trip for us.
It's awesome.
We are like, this is like, there was a time where we were like, oh, what are we gonna review this week? And we have 6 weeks of games now, just based off of these Supermassive games because they're so freaking good. Well, we've been talking till literally the sun has set. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And follow us, as always, on Instagram at Gameaholic Podcasts. We have an awesome affiliate program with TELUS in Canada. So if you're in Canada and you're looking for internet, check it out. We can give you a pretty sweet deal moving over. We've also joined the Apple affiliate program, so we'll have some cool details coming up on that one as well. So until next time, stay groovy. I got no peace even. I shook you right up. No peace.